kitchen is stocked because today I'm going to teach you about preparedness for the hurricane. Any storms that are coming, we have to be careful. It's not like the north where a blizzard, if you lost the power, you stuck the milk and the ice cream out in the snowbanks. It's hot, it's humid, and we have to have a plan. So I'm going to teach you how to organize your cupboards, how to inventory what you have in your refrigerator and your freezer in case you do lose the electricity, so you're not opening the door open and closed, and simple tips that we can make on our grills and pre-cook that don't need to go in the refrigerator. Stay with me. It's hurricane cooking for the kitchen and get you through this no matter which way it blows. Okay, we're going to get you organized. The key to get very organized in case of a storm is to shop your pantry, your refrigerator, and your freezer. So I want you to get out a pad of paper and I want you to color code things. Your freezer is going to be where you're going to not want to open it for as long as possible to keep everything frozen. Know if there's a pork loin in there that you're going to be able to grill. Know if there's chicken breasts in there. Those are the first things you're going to want to get out of there. You have 3 days from the time you pull it out of the freezer. So what we do is we use different colored coolers depending on what we're going to store. Let's start over here. Simple items from the pantry, don't go heavy on it. Salt, pepper, garlic salt, some form of a spice. For me, it's crushed red pepper and oregano and cinnamon. With that, I can add flavor to anything I need. Bacon now comes fully cooked in packages. I always keep 2 in the hurricane pack because that way I know that we can have a little flavor and we can cook bacon and eggs and things like that if we need to on a burner. This comes from a restaurant supply store. It has a propane can in it. A lot of people use it if they have electric burners. It's great to have this backup if you don't have a propane grill with a side burner and you want to use cast iron. So before the storm, get your cast iron pans out, clean them, rub them very well with oil, and put them in an oven at 250 degrees for about 3 hours. That will get them seasoned, ready to go. 2 cans of protein. I always say salsa and 1 bottle of the guilty pleasure of a salad dressing that you can use as a marinade. Hot dogs, most of them are pre-cooked, so it's another source that you can use to pack up. Now, what I do is taking your dairy and putting it in a stand-up type of cooler that you would wheel to the beach. Use plastic containers. This is where a little investment is so worth it. Make sure you have aluminum foil for your grill and to wrap things. My eggs, if I put a carton in a cooler with ice, they're going to float away, right? Cream and cheese. With this, I have my coffee cream. I'm going to show you how to make some pre-storm quiche that you'll be able to eat, and we'll whip up a little bit of a mock bolognese sauce that's going to be perfect as we get through the week. So stay with me. We're going to move down the aisle, show you how simple spaghetti can turn into peanut noodles, give you some protein, some great snacks, and ideas to keep the kids busy so they don't worry this weekend either. So I showed you how to first set up an emergency stove preparation. Make sure you have your charcoal and definitely plastic containers. Something like a pancake mix, everything included in it. All you have to do is add water. Don't even dirty an extra bowl. You can mix it within the packet and you have your syrup. That's your breakfast side of it. Then if you have bone broth, chicken broth, beef broth, you're good. That's nourishment. You can drink it at room temperature. You can also stretch it if your neighbors have evacuated over to your house. You can have it mixed in with a jarred, a very good flavored soup. Be careful with your wines. If they're stored, your bottles of wines, in low-lying areas, stop by the back side of usually like an ABC Liquors. They'll have wine boxes there with the separators. Better to put them in there just so there might not be breakage of glass. That's more important. Don't drink too much, folks. This is going to be humid and hot, and you need to stay focused. Since I always have some jarred sauce, Michael's of Brooklyn, I just took some ground beef and ground sausage that I unthawed last night from the freezer as I inventoried. I always have too much food in my fridge and freezers. So here's a good way to start a bolognese sauce. I had a half a pepper, some mushrooms, throw in what you need to, and you've got a meat sauce brewing. We can let that cool down, put it in the freezer, then take it out as we need it, even if we need to eat it cold, or option on pan on the burner. As I mentioned, spaghetti. Let it sit on the counter, just cover it. You can mix it, thin down organic peanut butter with sesame oil or tahini and a little soy sauce, and you will have some delicious protein noodles with the peanut butter. Now, super simple, another item to have. I have eggs. And I want to use my eggs up fairly quickly if I don't have something that I'm going to be able to cook off of. This is great. If you're like me, I get nervous this time, so I decide to do a little baking so I can, you know, share some with the neighbors since I, you know, have the eggs and the butter in the house. So let's just fill some of those. I had a couple mushrooms, some spinach. I'm going to top it with a little shredded cheese. Look in your cheese drawer, take little bits and pieces and shred them. We're going to bake this in the oven for about 25 to 35 minutes. We have a full protein meal. Protein bars, and last but not least, get a little bit of lettuce in a bag with canned tuna and smaller grape tomatoes because they'll hold longer. And that way you have some salad ingredients. Snacks, try to keep them as gluten-free as you can for anybody in your family that's going to need it that way. I'll be back to finish up in just a few minutes. Here we
Judy,
are,
I got to tell
John.
you, you've just done some wonderful public service here today in
Thank
explaining some
you.
of these things that you just wouldn't normally think of. And you have another tip because, you know, some of the kids can get a little nervous.
Children get really nervous. The TVs are on now. They're a little bit anxious. It's a great time to teach them how to make ants on a log. We did it as kids. It's celery with peanut butter or almond butter and little raisins.
It's good,
so
too.
let's teach them doing that now. So if we do lose power, that's their snack. And get some gluten-free and some power packs and let them play with it. They can even get ready for Halloween. If that's a distraction, it's a great idea. Cook your rice, your noodles, and your pastas before Saturday. Put them in Ziploc bags and don't
good to
worry
go.
if they're not refrigerated.
Keep them busy.
That's right.
Thanks so much, Judy. Recipe on our website, mysoncoast.com.
Thank
Back
you,
to
John, for all you're doing.